Imagine the Sahara Desert, 1040 AD. A religious movement among a group of nomadic Berber tribes gives birth to a dynasty that would rule for over a century. The vast, unforgiving dunes of the Sahara, not typically the cradle of empires, were about to witness an extraordinary event. The birth of a dynasty that would shape the course of history in the region for generations to come. The Almoravids. The Almoravid dynasty was not a result of royal bloodlines or a grand inheritance. Rather, it was the product of a confederation of Berber tribes, bound together by a shared religious fervor and a common purpose. The tribes were initially disparate, scattered across the vast desert, each following its own path. But the winds of change were beginning to blow. The religious and political climate of the time was ripe for change. A sense of discontent and the need for a unified religious identity was growing among the Berber tribes. Enter Abdallah ibn Yassin, a zealous spiritual leader with a vision. He sought to unify the tribes under the banner of a strict interpretation of Islam, purging practices he deemed un-Islamic and instilling a sense of religious discipline among the tribes. But a spiritual leader alone could not forge a dynasty. The tribes needed a military leader, a figure of authority that could rally the warriors and lead them to victory. That figure was Yahya ibn Umar. Together, Abdallah ibn Yassin and Yahya ibn Umar would become the driving forces behind the formation of the Almoravid dynasty. Under their leadership, the tribes were unified, their religious identity was solidified, and their military might was harnessed. With the spiritual guidance of Abdallah ibn Yassin and the military prowess of Yahya ibn Umar, the tribes were able to establish their rule across a vast territory, marking the beginning of the Almoravid dynasty. And thus, amidst the harsh desert sands, a powerful dynasty was born. The Almoravid dynasty wasn't just about military might. It was a time of cultural and intellectual flourishing. At the helm of this golden age was the charismatic leader, Yusuf ibn Tashfin. Under his rule, the Almoravids expanded their empire, stretching from the Sahara to Spain and across North Africa. This wasn't just a territorial expansion, it was also an era of cultural assimilation and intellectual growth. Yusuf ibn Tashfin wasn't merely a conquering hero, he was a visionary who understood the importance of culture and intellect in creating a powerful empire. His reign saw the construction of majestic architectural marvels, the most notable among them being the Qutubiyya Mosque. This magnificent structure, with its towering minaret, was not just a symbol of religious devotion, but also an emblem of the Almoravids' architectural prowess. Under Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the city of Marrakesh was transformed into a cultural and intellectual hub. Scholars, poets, and artists flocked to the city, turning it into a vibrant center of creativity and learning. The Almoravid court became a melting pot of ideas and philosophies where debates and discussions were encouraged. In addition to these cultural achievements, Yusuf ibn Tashfin also promoted the Maliki school of Islamic law. This wasn't just a religious preference, but a strategic move aimed at unifying his vast empire under a single legal framework. The Maliki school, known for its emphasis on community consensus and public welfare, became the backbone of the Almoravid legal system, contributing to the stability and prosperity of the empire. The Almoravids, thus, were more than just warriors. They were patrons of art, champions of intellect, and proponents of a unified legal system. They understood that an empire's strength lies not just in its military prowess, but also in its cultural and intellectual wealth. The Almoravid rule, thus, was not merely about expansion, but also about cultural enrichment. Like all empires, the Almoravid dynasty too had a downfall. The Almoravids, once a beacon of power and prosperity, began to crumble under the weight of numerous internal and external pressures. The empire, which had expanded rapidly, found itself stretched too thin, struggling to maintain control over its vast territories. The first of these pressures was internal conflict. As the dynasty grew, so too did the distance between its leaders and the people they ruled. Power struggles emerged, and the Almoravid centralized authority was put to the test. The ruling class became increasingly detached from the everyday concerns of their subjects, leading to widespread discontent and a weakening of the dynasty's internal cohesion. Alongside these internal struggles, religious dissent began to brew within the Almoravid ranks. The Almoravids' strict interpretation of Islam was not universally accepted within their territories. Many of their subjects, particularly in the far-flung regions of the empire, practiced more liberal forms of Islam, and they began to resist the Almoravids' attempts to enforce religious conformity. This religious dissent further eroded the unity of the empire, creating rifts that would prove difficult to mend. Externally, the Almoravids faced threats from the rise of the Almohad dynasty. The Almohads, who hailed from the Atlas Mountains, began to challenge the Almoravids' rule. They offered an alternative to the Almoravids' strict religious practices and promised to restore power to the people, an appealing proposition for those growing weary of Almoravid rule. As these pressures mounted, the Almoravid Empire began to crumble. Despite their attempts to maintain control, the dynasty was unable to withstand the combined forces of internal conflict, religious dissent, and external threats. By the mid-12th century, the Almohads had successfully overthrown the Almoravids, marking the end of their reign. The sands of time, it seems, spare no dynasty, no matter how powerful. The Almoravids, once a formidable force, fell victim to the same pressures that have led to the downfall of countless empires throughout history. The Almoravid dynasty may have crumbled, but its impact echoes to this day. This powerful dynasty, which once ruled vast territories in northwest Africa and southern Spain, left a lasting imprint that transcends the boundaries of time and geography. Let's begin with their architectural contributions. The Almoravids were master builders, crafting structures that were not only functional, but also a testament to their artistic prowess. They introduced a unique style of architecture, a fusion of Andalusian and Saharan elements. The Qutubiyya Mosque in Marrakech, with its towering minaret, is a stunning exemplar of this style. Even centuries after the fall of the Almoravids, their architectural influence can be traced in the buildings that dot the landscapes of Morocco and Spain. And then there's their influence on Islamic law. The Almoravids were staunch advocates of the Maliki school of Islamic jurisprudence, which they propagated throughout their empire. They established a network of madrasas, or Islamic schools, where this legal tradition was taught. Today, the Maliki school is one of the 4 major schools of Islamic law, followed by millions across Africa and beyond. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Almoravids is their impact on the cultural identity of the regions they ruled. They fostered a synthesis of Berber, Arab, and Andalusian cultures, creating a unique blend that continues to define these regions. The Almoravids' promotion of literacy and scholarship, their patronage of arts and music, and their embrace of diverse cultural influences all combine to form a vibrant cultural heritage that still pulsates through the veins of Morocco and Andalusia. So, while the Almoravid dynasty may no longer rule, its legacy remains vibrant and alive. Its echoes can be heard in the call to prayer from a Maliki mosque, seen in the grandeur of an Almoravid building, felt in the rhythm of Andalusian music, and experienced in the rich cultural tapestry of the regions they once governed. The Almoravids' influence is a testament to their vision and their power. The Almoravid dynasty thus lives on, not in the annals of power, but in the echoes of culture, law, and identity. The Almoravid dynasty, born from the sands of the Sahara, was a beacon of power and culture. From their unusual birth, they rose to establish a golden age, marked by vast expansion and rich cultural contributions. Yet, as with all empires, they faced their own downfall, a period of decline that was as pivotal as their rise. But the legacy they left behind? It's undeniable, a testament to their enduring influence. The Almoravid dynasty, a testament to the ebb and flow of human civilization, continues to inspire and intrigue us with its rich, multifaceted history.